Welcome into SportsSource.tv. Happy to have you here this afternoon, watching or this morning or tonight. Whenever it is you're watching this online, it could be any time. So thanks for being with us and checking us out. I'm joined by a couple of VFLs, a couple of offensive lineman VFLs. Mike Stoll, who's my age, which makes him old. Yes. Kyler Kerbison, who just finished up last year. That makes him a young man. Want to tell you, this segment, as always, brought to you by Smokin' Joe's. 2 locations, one in Alcoa, beautiful location, and in the original store. Great deals on Paper Mill. Smokin' Joe's, the best selection, best prices for cigars in the area. Check them out if you are a cigar aficionado. All right, I wanted to have a little fun. My voice is gone, so I'm just going to let you be the bad guy. What we're going to do, as a former Vol offensive lineman, you texted me a few times last year during games. I want to get your take. Now, just some general observations. It could be good observations, bad observations, questions you might have about the offense, about the way things are handled. But I just want to get your take on some of the things from last year that you saw at the offensive line and give Kyler here a chance to tell you to stick it.
Sweet.
Now, so it could be nice things.
Yeah.
You can throw bouquets if you want to be a pansy. Yeah. But if you want to be yourself, have at it.
I'm just coming off a roast, so I'm in that.
So guns are blazing.
That thing already.
I do have it. So can I ask a question about 2 seasons ago?
Sure.
So
yeah. Okay.
2 seasons ago, how are you able to change, especially late in the season? It seemed like teams figured out that this twist game was very successful against our offensive line.
Yeah.
Looked a lot better last year. How'd you guys fix that, or how did you make those adjustments?
I mean, I really think it was all practice. 2 years ago, my first time starting, Coleman Thomas's first time starting, Jason Robertson's first time starting. All of those guys, I mean, we were new to this. This was not, we were not 3-4 year starters like the group before us and Jawan James and Zach Fulton, who are, great NFL players now. So I think the experience of, playing against those guys, I mean, yeah, I got my butt whooped a few times, but Dante Fowler and Shane Ray and those guys made me a better player. Yeah. So it made it to where I could really succeed after that season. And, I asked Coach Mahoney if I could stay at left tackle and work on my craft so I could be even better for the team coming into the season, because there was guys that were not going to practice in the spring before that season that, maybe we'd have to switch people around. And I asked him, please, can you just keep me here the whole time? That way I can really hone in on my skills. So that really helped me.
Oh, I want to jump in on one thing there, because we talked about it in between segments. It's a little about what you're talking. You talked about all those players that made you better. Tennessee's improvement in talent along the defensive line, how much did that help you in practice get better?
Oh, yeah. And Kurt Maggitt and Derek Barnett and Corey Vereen, too. All 3 of the defensive ends, I mean, they're great pass rushers. They understand the game. And they all bring something different, which made me better at pass protection. Really understanding how to block a defensive end, how they work, how their bodies move, really helped me become a better player. And I give credit to them, too. And I hope I was able to return the favor and make them better in some way. But, yeah, they definitely helped me become who I am now.
Another question for you. So you go from your junior year, starting the whole season, moving into your senior year, starting the whole season. And you mentioned just the experience and the reps were huge for you. What was your one thing that you improved the most on? You felt like you improved the most on from junior to senior year?
I would say my set in my pass protection was the one thing that I improved on the most.
Explain that to the
Yeah.
viewers.
So it really was hard for me because I started out on the right side. I was really used to that. I'm a right-handed
guy. Gotcha.
Very used to the right side. I had to go to the left side because of injuries, and it just wasn't working for me. I didn't know where to put my feet. I didn't know how to go backwards very fast while the guy was running forwards very fast at me. So I had to figure all that stuff out. And like I said, with the continuation of me staying at that position and understanding how to set on a pass play, it really helped with staying square to the line the whole time. Don't turn.
Give a short corner. Right?
Yeah, give a short corner or make it to where you can't flip your hips and go back. You almost have to think of an offensive lineman as he's playing defense on LeBron James in the NBA, where he's going to drive to the basket, but you can't let him get to the basket. The basket is a quarterback.
Gotcha.
So you stay in front of him the whole time. And, I mean, what's going to make it easy? If you go for a ball and turn your hips, I mean, he's just going to go the other way.
Right.
So it's the same thing. I always try to say, you know, make sure your hips are square the whole time, and your hands are up, ready to strike.
One more thing. So looking at last season, you know, as an offensive, I don't know which, if you prefer pass blocking or run blocking. I know which one we did, but the game has evolved significantly since when I played. You know, what on your on the running game, you guys had that down. Of course, you had a couple of beasts behind you.
Yeah, exactly.
They made you look good. On the passing game, if Tennessee wants to win 11 games this year or 12 games this year, what has to happen better in the passing game in order for that to happen?
I think they really need to take advantage of deep ball threats. A lot of the wide receivers dropped some balls, or Dobbs overthrew them a little bit on the deep balls that could have been touchdowns, that could have been huge plays, and that's where you get your momentum. It's great to have a 5-yard run, and you'll get a first down eventually, but to have an 80-yard pass is really what gets a team going. So I think they need to work better on that, over-the-shoulder catches from the wide receivers, and then also work on the play-action pass game. With you running the ball so much, having that three-headed monster in the backfield of Hurd, Dobbs, and Kamara, and them not knowing where the ball is, your play-action pass game can really, really take off. They did some great things with tight end over the middle, faking it to Jalen, just dumping it to him, and him being open for 40 yards. More and more of that. More and more of faking it, looking like you're going to run, throwing it deep to Josh Malone or Preston Williams. So hopefully we can take advantage of that stuff.
Let me throw you one last question about Mike DeBoard coming in. You had the Bajakian offense, then you had the DeBoard offense, and there were some tweaks there. One thing that was obvious was the amount of plays where you had not only guards pulling, but you have a mobile Coleman Thomas who could pull.
Oh, yeah.
How much of a difference was it as an offensive lineman to say, okay, now there's some new stuff mixed in here? Was that fun for you? Was that an adjustment? How long did it take you to get all that stuff down?
Well, it's definitely fun for every offensive lineman. They love to run and get out in
Get
space.
ahead of steam up.
Yeah, and be able to cut a corner or a safety and not have to bang heads with a 300-pound defensive lineman all the time. So him adding those kind of plays in, some trick 'em plays in where it's misdirection, where you don't know if it's going to the right or the left or who's keeping the ball, it made our jobs a lot easier. It made it to where we could really be successful in what we were doing. So I was very excited with what he brought to the table, and he's an O-line guy. He really is, and he loved to watch us work and loved to run the ball, which as an offensive lineman, that's what you love to do.
And I lied. I'm going to throw one more at you. Talking about that, a few weeks ago we went back on the show and looked at the numbers. I would expect Tennessee's offense not to throw the ball much inside its own 20. All right, that's typical. You guys didn't throw a whole lot inside your own 40. You really had to get to the 40-yard line before you started airing it out more. We've debated it on this show. You won't want to answer this, but I'm going to give it to you anyway.
Okay.
Do you think that was a product of DeBoard simply trusts and loves the run game, or DeBoard wasn't 100% confident in the passing game, be that Dobbs or the receivers or just that disconnect that you saw at times last year? The decision not to throw it as much on your own end, product of him just loving that run game, or possibly not having 100% belief in the pass game last year?
Well, if you think about it, you want to start a drive off at a good position. If you give Jalen Hurd the ball, he's going to get you 4 yards almost every time.
Yep.
I mean, it's going to happen. If you pass the ball, who knows? Defense might make a great play. Dobbs might, get hit or something. He might throw it, drop ball. A lot of stuff could happen. You get known, you're 2nd and 10, you're behind on the change. So you definitely want a positive play to start out. And then it's all about setting up stuff for later. We want to run that ball a few times, maybe get to their 40, do a play-action pass, and it'd be a touchdown. So all that kind of stuff sets up later success.
A political answer. Very good.
Yeah.
Danced around that one well.
Yeah.
I'll
One,
give you
one more question. So we talked about the run games there for next year, and you feel good about that. The pass game, you mentioned throwing the deep balls. What does the offensive line have to do for that to be successful? What one thing are they going to have to make sure, knowing these guys, that they have to do to secure that that's going to happen and be successful?
They have to make sure to be on the same page every play. There cannot be a guy who doesn't know what's going on out there on the field. If you want to be successful, when this Coleman Thomas makes a call, left tackle or right tackle knows what's going on. They know exactly what they're doing. That way Dobbs stays clean. Hurd doesn't have to break as many tackles as he does, and we can get some open shots downfield.
All right, now another one. It'll be 3 o'clock.
It's fine.
3 o'clock.
It's fine. Yeah.
But here's one in terms of everybody being on the same page. You got a lot of guys across the board who started last year at different spots.
Mm-hmm.
You've got guys who are probably going to be backups this year who started some last year. You could have starting left tackle, guy didn't play last year.
Yeah.
How big of a concern if Drew Richmond is your guy at left tackle? It helps that everybody else will probably be on much more of the same page.
Yep.
Left tackle is kind of an important spot, though, to have the new guy.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that?
I mean, that's definitely the thing that Drew is working on the most right now. He's a tremendous athlete, understands how the game is played, but he needs to understand the plays front and back, every position, know exactly what's going on. That way he can be, the great left tackle that he has the potential to be. He doesn't want his mind tripping up his feet. He doesn't want to be thinking too much while he's out there. He needs to think less and be able to take advantage of that knowledge that he's going to gain over this offseason.
Very good. Mike Stoll just yawned, which I think tells us we're done.
Too much roasting last night.
Too much roasting.
Yeah,
Gentlemen,
that's
thank you
it.
very much. VFL Mike Stoll, always good to have you
John,
with us.
great to be here.
VFL Kyler Kerberson, good to have you join us,
Yeah,
man.
thank
We'll
you.
have to do it again. Although I hope you're playing in the National Football League this fall. If not,
Yep.
we're going to drag you right back here. Thank you. Thank our sponsors. We will see you next Sunday at 11 on WATE 6 for the Sports Source.